Cool. So this is a question that we get somewhat often, and I thought I'd make a quick tutorial. This is a tool called Google Tag Manager. We use this to inject third-party scripts onto websites. This works on Squarespace, it works on WordPress, it probably works on Wix. I've never tested that. But yeah, you can use this to do your Google Analytics, your Hotjar, your Facebook Pixel, any script that they want you to inject into the head manually. You can use Google Tag Manager. And what's nice about that is that Google Tag Manager is really great at tracking which tags are firing, how they're firing, when they're firing. And you can pause tags if you say you want Hotjar while you're doing testing, but then you want to pause Hotjar when you're not doing any sort of site changes and actively monitoring your site. So I'm going to do this really fast, but you can pause and slow down, and maybe someday I'll also put a blog post together that breaks this down. But I'm starting from the top. Tag Manager, creating a new account. And I'm doing this for our Super 8 film site called Bang Bang Academy. So I just create a new account. I'm gonna do bangbang.academy. And this is for web. Create account. I will accept their terms. Cool. So Squarespace does not give you the ability to inject into the body. They only give you the ability to do header or footer, and that's fine. You make sure this one's in the head, and then the other tag can go in the footer. So Squarespace, Bang Bang Academy. I believe it's under settings, possibly. Advanced. Code injection, header. All right, so I don't have the correct level of account for this site, but I would just put that code in the header, and then this code where it says body, I would put that in the footer. And that's gonna go site-wide, and that will install Google Tag Manager. All right, so let's pretend like I did that. Then I have Hotjar. All right, it is let's do e-commerce, new client, meh. So I'm actually not gonna create this because I don't wanna pay for it, but let's go to a existing site. We have it. All right, so this is the script that you've probably already installed on your site manually. Once you have Tag Manager, you just need to create a tag, and we're gonna hit new, and we're gonna do custom HTML tag, and that's it. Then once you have a tag, you have to trigger it. So that tells Google Tag Manager when you want this tag to actually fire, and you would just hit all pages, page view, and hit save. Let's name this tag. Let's call it Hotjar. Cool. So our tag is called Hotjar. It fires on all pages. Next, Google Analytics. All right, we're gonna do a website. It's gonna be called Bang Bang Academy. It's HTTPS. Bang Bang Academy, Arts and Entertainment, Los Angeles time. Cool. All right, so tracking code. This is how you would manually install Google Analytics. We don't even need that. All we need is this tracking ID, which is always UA dash and then a number. So I copy that. I go to Tag Manager, and we need to add a new tag. Let's call this one Analytics, page view, tag configuration, and you can just do the Google Analytics Universal Analytics tag, tracking page views. This is a more advanced setup, but if you're creating a bunch of analytics like events tags, you can create a settings variable which will auto-populate all of your Google Analytics. We're not going to do that. We're just going to enable it or override it with this tag. Put in your ID. This is stuff that you can fill in if you have more advanced analytics set up. Things like enhanced e-commerce, if you have an e-commerce site. If you have set up custom metrics, custom dimensions, or content groups, those would go here. And that's pretty much it. Most users do not need to worry about anything except for adding their tracking ID. Same as before, you're going to trigger this on all pages when the viewer views the page. All right, so we're going to save that. And then the only other thing I was going to show is if you're on WordPress, you can use this plugin called Head Footer Code to do the initial tag manager installation. Or it's really easy without a plugin. Just Google inject code into head with functions PHP and use a plugin called Snippets. And I can show you that real fast. This is called PHP snippets or code snippets. And it allows you to create these custom code snippets on your WordPress site, and then similar to Google Tag Manager, you can just like turn them on and off. And so for a Gtm installation, all you have to do is create an action or create a function called Gtm footer and run that action. It adds it to the footer, and this is the tag from Google Tag Manager, and it runs. So it's super simple function. A few Googles will show you how to do it. Adding code to your WordPress site via this plugin is much better for your site than installing a bunch of plugins to add the same sort of functionality. These are just very simple code snippets. So for the head, it's just adding an action to add to the WordPress head file. It's called Google Tag Manager. It runs. When it runs, it injects this PHP, and that's it. So it's pretty simple. On my initial recording, I forgot a very important step. Once you have added these tags into your Google Tag Manager, so you've created all the tags here, and you've created the firing triggers, so they're firing, you have a few cool options. First, you can hit preview. This allows you to visit the site, make sure that it's all installed and firing. It's not going to work on this site because I wasn't able to actually inject the head code, but when you go to your site and you have preview mode turned on, a box is going to show up in the lower part of your screen, and it's going to show you every tag that fired on that page view. So if you've done this correctly, you should see that your analytics is firing, that your Hotjar is firing, and any other tag that you've added. Once you've done that, you have to hit submit, and this is where you can take notes on what you have done to your site. Now, most photographers are just handling their own site, and they don't have to remember what changes have been made, but this is nice, especially if you have a team, if you have anybody else working with you. So you can say, I added, or let's call this added Hotjar, and you can describe it. Say added a Hotjar snippet that fires on page view, and then hit publish, and Tag Manager is going to publish that change. It tracks all of your changes, so you can see which date and time you added that tag, what tags are currently live. It's really handy, especially on larger sites, or if you have multiple people working on the site, you can really figure out hey, did my Facebook pixel get accidentally removed? When was it removed? And you can see the timestamp and say oh, yep, last Friday at 5 p.m. I accidentally removed the Facebook pixel. Let's go add that now. So it's super nice, especially for larger sites. But that's a cool function. Happy testing, and good luck. That's it. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in this YouTube video or hit us up in the Feel Your Photos Facebook group or the SEO for Photographers Facebook group. Thank you for watching.